Well, this is going to be a quick one today, but I called this. I called this what years ago, back when Milo, shall we say, first started saying that he was being ignored and that he wasn't complaining about it, wasn't getting his money anymore, and that people weren't buying his books or going to see him in shows, etc., etc., etc. And there's one thing you can always count on the right. When they split hard. And what Milo has essentially done is he's somehow got a hold of, whether he had this all along or whether he's obtained this from someone else. I don't think that we're not entirely sure how he came about through this, but he got a recording of Richard Spencer from, I think it was the night of Charlottesville, and we all know what happened at Charlottesville. A whole bunch of alt-right white supremacists got together, started chanting very anti-Semitic slogans, a lot of very, very, shall we say, Nazi socialist slogans, and yeah, and someone got killed, unfortunately. That person was Heather Heyer, who was killed by one of the protesters who slammed his car into a group of them, and unfortunately she died because of this, act of terrorism. There's no other way to cut it. But what happened afterwards was that the Charlottesville, I'm not sure what they call them in America, but I think it's like the town council, or something like that. Yeah, why am I saying that? Yeah, it's the town council. But yeah, the town council basically made moves to cancel all such events like this, and Richard Spencer didn't have a good time. In fact, the audio is, he basically goes on a completely racist tirade, saying about how that these people, when they look up, they'll be looked down on with people with faces like his, basically implying that, you know, people who are white deserve to be in a higher place, and yeah, there's no other ways to put it, and that to be honest is the most mildest thing in the video. Let's so you know when you and he literally does go on a racist, completely racist tirade of just sheer anger at what the town council has done, threatening that, you know, he'll be back there every weekend to do this. Now, of course, this plays back into the whole of is Trump a racist? Bearing in mind, both Trump and Richard Spencer have endorsed each other, and yet now Donald Trump is. We've already always known that Richard Spencer was a racist. Let's not say that was, you know, a secret that people keeping, or like suspicions. Everyone knew what he was. The fact that we now have open video, or not on video, but shall we say audio recordings of him doing and saying this, it pretty much nails what the alt-right have been doing for the past couple of years, and indeed most of what the alt-right, even UKIP and the Brexit Party, do this. So what they essentially have done is that they realised, well, our racism puts people off. If we're openly racist, people won't join us, they won't come to our rallies, they won't give money to us. So what did they do? Well, they decided, let's hide our language, let's disguise what we're talking about, let's make, shall we say, entry points to certain people. And as a result, you've seen a rise in what these people have done, And now, luckily though, a lot of these people have been deplatformed. They've been taken off Facebook, YouTube, Patreon. You know, they've lost their means of income, because at the end of the day, it's a big grift. And I did a video, what, years ago now, back when I first started YouTube, about how one of Alex Jones' former employees, what was he called now? Oh, I think it was like Jack Blood, and he was he was like a conspiracy guy. He got in really good with Alex Jones. Alex Jones gave him a show on his radio station and his program that he had at the time. He was a regular guest on it. And then what happens? Well, it's a thing that has happened with a lot of Alex Jones's, shall we say, employees. When, shall we say, that they've started getting a certain amount of popularity, when they've started, shall we say, attracting more influence than Jones, then Jones gets rid of them. Jones gets rid of them in the most brutal of way. In fact, if you go back, I'm not sure if the video still exists, but you had a video of him telling all this stuff that Alex Jones has done and said about how he's not really about the conspiracy stuff. He's just doing it for the money. Again, stuff that really we already know because we've seen the character of this guy. But now that there is someone else saying it, you sort of get it pretty much confirms what we thought all along to be true. And again, in the case of Richard Spencer, no one was saying that it wasn't true, that he wasn't a racist. If this is, this video, the audio, shall we say, is, shall we say, gold-plated proof that he is an absolute racist to his core, and that he's just been putting on a very, shall we say, less racist outward appeal. Because that's what they've had to do, as we said earlier on. They don't get as many people if they're outwardly racist. Just look at the Brexit Party at the moment. They've had someone who thinks that the government is run by people from another planet, and that's their candidate for Leeds. There is someone who is openly Islamophobic, I think in Birmingham, that's where they are, has been running for them. And that's just the start of some of these candidates, of what they've come out and said. And that's just the Brexit Party. Yeah, you've got to think about the Tory candidate, for example, who said that the people on Benefit Street should be put to death. But, that's just the Tory party. And this is the thing that many of these people have done. They've put on, shall we say, a nice veneer, but every so often they've, done what we call a dog whistle. For those that don't know what a dog whistle is, it's, shall we say, a secret code. So when they say one thing, it doesn't mean the thing that, that means to sort of you or I. Let's say I say breakfast. But in their world, breakfast is a secret, racist code word for, I don't know, whatever. But that's what they've been doing, and you've seen over the past couple of years, that rise of alt-right people, and it's been very, very quite, worrying. Now, luckily, it does seem that these people are being headed off at the pass and are losing a lot of their influence and at least money that they used to get all this. And part of the reason why Milo is doing this is partly because they've lost their mainstream. They've got this pie now that they've all got in this one area, and there's no way of increasing the size of the pie. But to get more of the pie, you have to go and stab your fellows in the back, just like Alex Jones has done repeatedly over the years to many of who you would think were his brothers in arms in conspiracy theories and things like that. Just look at the U-turn he did on David Icke. He used to rail against David Icke, how much he hated him and wanted him to go away, and called him the turd in the punch bowl. And yet now he loves him, because Alex Jones is a slave to his audience, and much like these people are, they are slaves to their audience. And if you can discredit some of these things, and that's what I think Milo is going for. I think he's going to try and go for a lot of these people who think that Richard Spencer isn't racist, and by releasing that audio, they'll go, "Oh, well, yeah, geez, I didn't realize, he was a racist," even though it was obvious for everyone to see that he was. And now he's hoping that they will, shall we say, change their donations to him. But it's very funny, to be honest, what happened. Milo has said that he has other things like this for other people on the alt-right, so that will be quite funny to see when those comes out, if they come out. But yeah, not surprising, but it's kind of funny that Milo has turned into a massive snitch on the alt-right.